Right. And we're recording. Hey, welcome to Two Dorks, One Mic. I'm Kyle.
I'm James.
All right, let's get into the news. What do you want to start with?
Okay, let's start with one of the more earliest breaking of news, or recent breaking news. Tom Hardy's going to be playing Venom in the upcoming solo movie.
I'm excited for his casting. I don't know about the Venom movie, though, itself, because is it going to tie into the MCU? Because if it doesn't, I don't care.
I love Tom Hardy. He's one of my all-time favorite actors. So when I saw the news, my thoughts were, I don't know how I feel about this. I'm still a little bit skeptical of what Sony's doing with that sort of universe of characters,
right?
And how badly this could go. But I'm completely I'm okay with this. I think Tom Hardy, he's been aiming to break into comic book movies for a while now.
Well, I mean, he did Dark Knight Rises.
What?
He did Bane.
Well, I mean the more mainstream stuff.
I mean, you can't get more mainstream than Batman villain.
I think what he's going for is more of the bigger picture, the superhero films that are bigger in scale, that are connected to something, that are all connected together, that kind of thing. He's been aiming to break into that. He was originally going to be playing Rick Flag in Suicide Squad, but dropped it to be in The Revenant.
Yep.
And then at one point, and then in an interview, he had interest in playing the Punisher, but then that eventually went to Jon Bernthal.
Yeah.
All this different stuff. So the fact that he signed on to do this is a big deal, and I think he's a very talented actor. Just watch some of his more obscure films, and you'll know exactly. Hell, if you want to get an idea of him playing like a deranged sociopath, just watch Bronson. You want to see him play as like a very mental, intimidating guy, watch Bronson.
Okay.
And I think he's going to be great in the role. But I'm also kind of concerned, is this going to be like Splinter Cell, where it's supposed to come out at this time, but because of development issues, it just keeps getting pushed? Because the Splinter Cell movie has been in development since 2012.
Well, I think he dropped the project, didn't he? Didn't Tom Hardy leave that?
Nope, he's still attached.
Huh?
He's a fan of the series, so this is like a dream come true for him to be a part of it. Not a lot of people look into the details of his life, but he's a huge geek.
Yeah.
The guy is just an adorable nerd. So him signing on to play Sam Fisher in the Splinter Cell movie was more of as a fan than versus this is like a job.
Right.
And he's still determined to get it made. I'm just kind of thinking it's been in development since 2012.
Yeah.
The last update that we heard about it is they finished a draft has been completed, and that it was being sent his way. And if he signs off on it, the movie could go into production and still could come out around the 2017-2018 mark.
Well, my thing...
That was a few months back.
Well, my thing with this Venom movie is it going to tie into the MCU?
I'm hoping so, because I think this is something that he really wants to be a part of, as I said, sort of the bigger picture of these superhero movies.
Right, but I'm saying, I would love to see... Because I think he's a good cast for it. I just don't know if he's going to be are we going to get... Because we're going to get because we're getting the Venom solo movie. Is Spider-Man going to be in that? How is the symbiote story going to go? Is the symbiote going to attach itself to Peter and then go to Brock? Is it?
Well, it could. What I'm picturing for the movie is it could follow the miniseries of stories that led up to his formal introduction in the comic books. When I'm thinking, the one where post Peter Parker loses the symbiote, it gets rid of it, and then it finds Brock, and then it's like a small story of stuff that happens before he finally steps on the stage and introduces himself as Venom.
Yeah,
I cannot remember what it was called, but that's what I'm thinking of.
Right.
Or you could do any of the other I forget that and just do any of the other miniseries featuring the character.
I mean, you could do. I mean, Venom had a lot of great solo series, but
yep.
It's like I said, you kind of lose something if you get rid of Spider-Man for that, though. That's the thing.
Well, and I mean, what I'm getting at is don't make it all about Spider-Man versus Venom. I'm thinking make it about the majority of it. Make it about that character.
Wouldn't you want to see that done well?
I would, but have the majority of that story be about that character, and then have it build up to, at some point in the film, him, trying to clash with Spider-Man, and then go from there during the rest of the film. Don't make it all about it. Have it build up to that in the same film.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, that. I mean, I like his casting. I think his casting's awesome.
We know he's going to take it incredibly seriously, and like I said, if any of you in the audience have seen the film Bronson, you know exactly that he's got what it takes to be a very very brooding, intimidating character, and also even Bane is another example.
And the thing with Tom Hardy is that we know he doesn't mind having his face covered up, so we can actually get the Venom face.
Yes, and have it. Let's not get too carried away with that, please. Whoever's going to get hired to design the look, do not get carried away with the monstrous side of Venom.
No, I hate the long tongue on Venom. I hate the tongue.
That's what I mean by getting carried away.
Yeah, just give him
give him the large mouth. Give him the jagged teeth.
He's so much creepier with just that smile. He's just so much creepier with that.
Give us that. But by all that is mighty, ditch the tongue, please.
And refer to and he's got to refer to himself as we.
Yes. Create that sort of unity that he's known for.
Right. Well, I mean, this is a little bit off track, but do you remember the Spider-Man Unlimited cartoon from like the early 2000s, I think, or it was like late 90s?
It was late. It was very late 90s, early 2000s.
Right. There's one. It's not a great show, not really.
Very short-lived.
Right. Well, and the one thing that I liked from that show, there's an episode, where Peter, like, he fought Venom because Venom and Carnage are kind of like the main antagonists, I guess, and Peter goes, Brock's been connected to the symbiote for so long that he started saying I instead of we. I'm like, there's a potential. I'm like, that's kind of like that stuck out into my mind ever since I was a kid, and I'm like, there could be a potential story there. Like, if you want to eventually go down that road, but for this first movie, he's got to stick with we.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna bring that up, then just a great recent example of that was the Spectacular Spider-Man, where he did exactly that.
Yeah.
Just bring that. Just put that in there.
Yeah.
It would work absolutely fine.
Yeah. But okay, and yeah, but like I said, I'm looking forward to him playing Venom. It's gonna be cool.
It is. It seems like with the right people making this project, aside from the wonderful Mr. Hardy, then it's all gonna be fine.
Yep. Did you see the pictures of Mera from Aquaman?
You mean that's Amber Heard's character?
Yep.
Yep, I did.
Where like her costume's like actually bright now, and actually has color.
Yes, I did.
I was like, oh my gosh, we have color. It's amazing.
Maybe there could be some what's the word I'm looking for? Some positive vibes to this film.
Well, I mean, DC may be coming back. I kind of think of DC as like Rocky right now. Like, they're going up against Apollo Creed, who's Marvel, and we love Apollo, but we like to see someone challenge the king, and DC took a couple beatings in that first round, but they're coming out strong with Wonder Woman, because every early review I've read has said the movie is amazing.
Wow, good to know it's faring better than Alien Covenant.
Oh, I saw that movie. Fuck that movie. Just straight up, fuck that movie.
I went right to the spoilers. Like, oh dear, the reviews. But what's happening? What's this all about? And then, shit. I didn't even watch the movie, but I felt pretty burned by all the questions it doesn't answer.
Oh, I was sitting there in the theater, and I was like, you motherfuckers. Might as well just put up a giant middle finger for the whole fucking movie.
Supposed to be good, Ridley Scott. You're one of the good ones.
Yeah.
The fucking. And
they want to make like 6 more.
Yeah, he went on record saying I got 6 more left in me. 6?
Fucking...
You said trilogy, you fuck.
Like, I wouldn't be a problem.
French, Mr. Ridley Scott, but 6 movies?
Here's the thing. I wouldn't mind 6 more movies if the movies were good.
And if one of them was Neil Blomkamp's Alien 5.
I still want to see Neil Blomkamp's Alien.
Let's just live it. Let's just keep our fingers crossed and be hopeful that it isn't dead, that Ridley Scott didn't kill the project.
Well, no, that project got killed to make Alien Covenant.
Let's just hope that somewhere, some way, it could still get made.
It won't. I'm crushing your hopes and dreams.
Well, stop it! I want to be. I want to be hopeful, and it's not even big. And it's not even that big of a deal to me because as long as the Predator keeps getting movies, it's all fine to me.
Yeah.
And with the
how is it that the Predator is made? How is it that the Predator is more consistent with like good movies than fucking Alien?
I don't know. And the thing, there's been less of them.
Yeah.
There's only with including the Predator. There's only been 4 movies. Yeah. And only one of them was kind of meh in my book. And
well, I don't count the first Alien versus Predator.
I don't count. I'm not talking about those movies. I'm talking about the solo Predator movies, and the only one I did not like was 2.
2's got its moments, though.
2 has its moments, mostly because of Danny Glover. He's fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people were pissed. It's like, you go from Arnold Schwarzenegger to Danny Glover, and I'm like, no, Danny Glover's the shit. Don't you insult him. He's too old. He's too old for this shit. He's too old to be taking shit from you. Yeah. He did too much shit in Lethal Weapon to take shit from anybody. Yeah. You know? Like, here's the thing. If Mel Gibson wasn't, like, a terrible, terrible person, I would so be up for Lethal Weapon 5. Because I just want to see Danny Glover back on screen. That's why we have the TV show. So we don't have to have them back. I just mentioned it because that's just media, man. I don't even watch the show. Fuck. But okay. But Wonder Woman. Yeah, like I said, Wonder Woman's been getting awesome reviews. It's been getting like kick-ass reviews, from what I hear. So well, that's very good. Because we are less than about a week away from it. Say about a little over another week, and then it's gonna be. Hold on. It comes out the 2nd, right? Yes. We're about 8, 9, 10. We're about 10 days away from Wonder Woman. Awesome. We're about 10 days. Holy shit. Fuck. Like 10 days away from Wonder Woman, and yet in less than a month till E3, and Ubisoft is already teasing Far Cry 5. What the hell? Why can't it be June? Why can't it be June already? Well, no, don't be June. You know. Like, I want to sit down and watch the Super Bowl season of gaming for the year. Yeah. It's a really terrible metaphor, but whatever. You know what's a really terrible metaphor? What? Potatoes. I'm sorry, I'm just being random. We're recording this at like noon, because like I was too tired to record it last night, so we should have apologized in advance for being 1 to 2 days late on this. Oh no, we're still a week. We're still a week. Yeah, we usually spring for the weekends. Yeah, we try to go for the weekends, but well, I mean, the videos usually don't get uploaded because like YouTube is like an hour. It's literally almost like 2 hours to upload these. So it is a pain in the ass. Yeah, so it's they do not make our jobs easy. Mm-hmm. Short films. That's one thing, but doing anything immensely long, they want to make your job a living hell. Yeah. But yeah, okay. Yeah. Do we want to talk about The Mummy?
Sure. What do you got?
It looks terrible.
I've only seen 2 of the trailers.
Here's the thing. I don't. This isn't a bad idea for, like, a universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe it could be like Dawn of Justice and just be a really, 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 really rocky start.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, there's some good ideas in here, but it was just handled so poorly that it's just a really rocky start. And if the money doesn't do the talking, it's probably not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Dawn of Justice made a shitload of money. Suicide Squad made a shitload of money. If this doesn't make a shitload of money, it's probably going to die.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Speaking of franchises that need to die, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Motherfucker. I stopped caring. I really did. I watched 2 of the trailers. Like, that's myself. Why are we still making these? Why? Do they hate us that much?
Pirates of the Caribbean 5. Dead franchise, don't tell good stories.
Good one. Very good one.
But no,
but I don't understand this one. Like, isn't this supposed to be the last one?
No, apparently they want to make they want to make a 6. I haven't seen the movie, but I know everything that happens in it. Because, like, I'm a person with no life, so all I do is look up movie stuff. But yeah, I know everything that happens in the plot, and no.
Well, we don't need these films anymore.
Well,
3 were fine, and the third one was
My thing is, with Pirates of the Caribbean should have done what Indiana Jones did, which is every movie's a standalone adventure, and have Jack Sparrow be your recurring character in all of them. Don't make him, like, the main focus. Just kind of have him be that through line.
And have all the side stuff going on.
Yeah, because
I think an excellent comparison would be, this is basically Disney's take on the Matrix movies in terms of formula. Because let's see, first movie, amazingly perfect. Second movie,
it's one of the best adventure movies.
Yeah.
The first one, yeah.
And then you get to Dead Man's Chest, like, it's okay.
And it ends on a cliffhanger, the same way Reloaded did.
Yep, and then we get to At World's End, and we're like, oh god, why? Why did this happen?
What happened to the Calypso fucking storyline? You remember that? Where she becomes
I
Calypso, and then that character is never seen or heard from again?
Shit's all over the place, and it's just, the fuck, man. It's like, did the Wachowskis consult with who, like, Jerry Bruckheimer on this?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I want to make, like, a kick-ass trilogy of pirate movies. Can I talk to you guys?
Yeah. But no,
sure, we got nothing else better to do. We already ruined our franchise.
It's so obvious that this is just a cash grab at this point.
Well, I mean, let's analyze this a bit more. Shit, what was the fourth one called?
Stranger Tides.
Yeah, Stranger Tides. We didn't need it. It kind of goes with your idea of a self-contained adventure that's just within its own bubble, which would have been fine if the movie was actually any good.
Yeah.
Where just, hey, look over here, it's Captain Jack Sparrow up to shenanigans. Yeah. Let's hope you pay attention to all that and don't notice that and don't see through the bullshit and realize that this is a shit movie. And then, but we all saw through the lies and realized that it's not a good film. That we didn't need this.
The mermaids were cool.
Yeah, the mermaids were cool. But, like, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, we did not need it.
What do you mean? There's only 3 Indiana Jones movies. For some reason, they're calling the next one Indiana Jones 5. There wasn't a 4th one. I'm confused, but, you know, that's weird that they just skipped 4.
It's gonna be bad. Why?
Well, speaking of Indiana, this Pirates movie was written by the same guy who wrote Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Fuck!
Not that movie exists in any way.
Let's stop bringing it up.
Fucking.
We don't. I look at this film and I'm thinking, it's basically just more shenanigans, and while trying to tell a plot that nobody should give a shit about. And they want it to be such a big deal. Let's see, they're bringing back all kinds of familiar characters, including Orlando Bloom's Will Turner. They're bringing all kinds of characters back. Like, I don't care. They should have stopped at 3.
They should have stopped. Like I said, they just should have gotten to the point of where they were just like, if they wanted to do another one, like I said, they should have just done a standalone adventure film. Because if you go back and watch the first Pirates movie, Johnny Depp is not... Jack Sparrow is not the main character of that film. Will is. Will Turner is the main character of that first film. And the problem was they made Jack the main character.
Yeah, it had its balancing issues where it could not tell a story with a large ensemble cast and really figure out who's the centerpiece of it.
Right.
It's like, okay, we have this large cast of characters. Who's our main character? We have no fucking clue. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
It was either have them all be as equally important or have one of them be like important. They had no clue what they were doing.
Well, and like it's just no more pirate movies. I don't care. I don't care anymore. Jack Sparrow is not an endearing character anymore. Like, honestly, if this was like a retro film, if they had done the first one and then every like couple years had brought it back, I would have been fine with it.
Because, but there's some sizable gaps here. Yeah. There's some small gaps in between these movies. And yeah, like I said, it's basically Disney's own Matrix trilogy.
Right. Well, and in
terms of quality.
Right. Well, and then we're going to get a 6th one because 4 made over $1 billion.
That's right.
And if 5 does as well,
it's most likely going to do as well. It's just going to be that schlocky big budget blockbuster that's just going to put dumb butts in seats.
My thing is Wonder Woman going to beat out Pirates?
I really hope it does.
I hope it does too.
Kick his ass! It's like kick his ass, Diana. Kick his ass.
Yeah.
Win this for the real fanboys and girls.
Amazon versus Pirates. Pirates gonna lose.
Pirates gonna lose big time. Hey, that'd make a really dumb movie.
The Amazon women versus the Pirates of the Caribbean.
No, there's a spiritual successor to Cowboys and Aliens. Amazonians versus Pirates.
We should totally make that movie. We should totally make that movie.
Get Jon Favreau to direct that shit. Like, hey, you made a movie about cowboys and aliens fighting each other, pretty cool. Do the same thing with Amazonians and pirates.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I got a lot of downtime between shooting the live action Lion King movie. I can do this.
Okay. It's just.
I feel like what they should have done with those movies is just.
Well, he's also writing the Lion King.
That's right. He is.
Guy who wrote Pirates 5 and Indy 4.
What? God damn it! It's like David S. Goyer all over again.
Hey, Goyer's not this bad.
He's not that bad, but he's had some pretty close calls.
Yeah, he did give us Blade 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I mean...
That happened.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill. I still don't know what that line means, but it's amazing.
Well, the story was, and I got this from Red Letter, and I heard this from Red Letter Media. The story was that they were just in a meeting.
Yeah.
And Wesley Snipes said that, and then Goyer thought it was like was so impressed by that phrase that he put it in the movie. Wesley Snipes never understood that. He's like, why do you want to put that in the movie? And Goyer's just not like, that's just like it's just a cool phrase. He just wanted to put it in there. Yeah. It doesn't mean anything. It's literally just a take on something a cool guy says. Let's put it in there for bugger all reason.
Yes, but it's awesome. I mean,
I don't get it. He could have said something. He could have said something more relevant and clever than something that makes bugger all sense.
I mean, I get what the line is supposed to mean. It's like, you know, you're just losing an uphill battle. Like, I guess at that point, you know what I mean? I mean, have you?
Yeah, but
I mean, you and I are both from the north, so we know what it's like trying to ice skate up a hill.
Yeah, but we just did not. I don't know. It could have just been phrased or just something else entirely that says the same thing.
Oh, I want to watch Blade 1 now. Blade 1's such a good movie. Blade 1 is such a fun movie.
It is a fun movie.
It's ridiculous and fun, but it's awesome.
Back when comic book movies didn't give no fucks.
Well, I mean, people kind of cite Deadpool as like the first R-rated comic book movie. I'm like, just a Blade.
I said this before the movie even came out. Yeah. Before all of you get your panties in a wad and say and go up in arms with joy, saying that Deadpool is like the big cool R-rated superhero movie. Let us remind you of the 90s when Blade was the one to do that first.
Yeah, and Blade kicked ass. Like that first Blade movie, like, because that came out in what, 99?
I think so. Somewhere around that time.
I'm gonna look this up just so I can get my facts.
And it reeled in the big bucks. Successful.
Because I remember being a kid. No, 98. So I was 7 at the time, and I remember everyone being like, "Oh, you got to see Blade." It was that cool R-rated movie that was really violent and used words like motherfucker.
Yeah, I was still a very small youngin at the time.
You were like what, 3?
I think around 96, 98. I guess I don't know. I don't really want to do that math. I'm just gonna say 3.
Okay, but yeah.
I was super tiny back then. But even as a kid, when I finally sat down and watched it, like, this is so cool.
Yeah, poor Wes. Wesley Snipes still wants to do Blade 4.
He's not gonna get it.
I don't know. Which
it's probably after Defenders, they're gonna probably want to cover more properties for Netflix, and Blade is probably going to be what they do next.
But I like Wesley Snipes in the role. He was just insane on the third one. Because you know about the third one, right?
Yeah, I think we've discussed it before, and I know how much of a shit show that was.
Well, I mean, he's not in that movie except for
he's
close-ups.
He's not in the movie at all.
Well, except for close-ups. That's the only time he's actually in the movie.
It's the equivalent, excuse me, Yep. The only time Wesley Snipes is only in like a small percentage of the actual movie. The rest of it was doubles.
Yep.
Just like Daniel Craig's, I think it was Spectre, because partway through filming he fucked up his legs, so he couldn't do any of the action. So only in close-ups and wide shots is he actually in the film.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I think it was Spectre. I know it was one of those movies he got severely injured and couldn't do any of the action, which is kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
For the movie, but whatever.
Yeah. Who would you want to see play Bond? Would you want Craig to come back?
Let's get somebody new, please.
I love Craig in the role, though.
No, don't get me wrong. I loved him as the character. Heck, he's the reason I got into the movies in the first place. But let's get somebody new. Yeah. It's time to switch gears and let somebody else fill those shoes.
Idris Elba.
You read my mind. I've been saying it for a long time. Let's get Idris Elba to play the next Bond. And a lot of people shoot me down and say like, no, he can't do it. Why not? And I never get a solid or straight answer as to why. They just don't want him to be the next Bond. But why not? He would guess in the role.
He would be a great Bond. He would be amazing.
And I'm not saying it for like the sake of diversity. I mean, that would be a huge plus. But I think as an actor in general,
oh yeah,
he would kick ass in the role.
Oh, like just taking the race thing out of it. He's got the charisma. He's British.
He's got the suave.
He has the suave. He can be a brawler. Like, you buy him in action.
Yeah. Hell, just if we really want to take a recent example, just fucking watch the trailer for The Dark Tower.
Yeah.
He's gonna kick ass in that movie.
Yeah. fucking, and fucking, just, like, I would love to see him do more shit. Because he doesn't get to do shit in the Marvel movies. It's like, oh, you have this great actor that I love, but you don't give him shit to do.
And when he did get shit to do, the movie just overall wasn't that great it wasn't that great with everybody.
Well, I mean, like, just...
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But yeah, just like, that's just kind of a tease where it's like, oh, you love this actor? Well, guess what? We're not gonna make him... He's not gonna get to do shit, but stand around. I'm like, well, that's kind of disappointing.
Not happening. I'm not having it. We need to do when the time comes and we have the leverage to make this happen. We're going to use what influence we have to make Idris Elba the next Bond.
Yes, this will happen.
This will happen.
Make Idris Elba play every role. Would you not go see a movie where Idris Elba played every role?
Maybe for like one movie. I wouldn't know how I feel about every movie, but maybe one movie where he plays all the characters.
No, I'm saying like he does like a remake of like fucking like I don't know, fucking. No, that's what the Power Rangers sequel should be. It should be Idris Elba, Bruce Campbell, Chuck Norris, fucking like all of the badasses from fucking Hollywood just be Power Rangers.
Yeah. Like Green Lantern, the Stones just find all the biggest badasses in the world.
Well, I think he would have been a good Jon Stewart.
I have to agree with you on that one. I don't understand why people are still crying for Tyrese Gibson. No offense, Tyrese, but you're no Jon Stewart in my book.
Like, I mean, like my thing with.
I need something I can take a little bit more seriously, please.
Right. Well, speaking of that, this isn't really news. This isn't really, like, make the thing. But I saw an interview with The Rock promoting Baywatch. And if you'll remember, he still signed on to play Black Adam.
Yes, I did know that.
He did tease that he's going to be showing up somewhere in the near future. Where do you think he'll show up?
Maybe Justice League Part 2?
I think we could... Maybe this is wishful thinking. I think we'll get a reference to him in Wonder Woman.
Possibly.
Because, I mean, potentially... We're going to be fighting in it's World War I. So maybe there's a scene where, like, they have to do something in Egypt, and...
The pieces are there, and it just happens.
But, like, I could see him showing up in Justice League, potentially. But like I said...
We just have to see.
I would love to see him, because it's like, I'm surprised they haven't, like, got that movie, like, on production, like, as of, like, right now, because, like, The Rock is a big movie star, and it's like, why wouldn't you do... I still think he would have been a great Shazam.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, why did you pick Black Adam over Shazam?
I mean, he looks just like Black Adam.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just find it strange. Like, given the choice, like, wait, you could have been Shazam. I mean, it would have been a little bit weird seeing... although I will admit it would be a little bit weird seeing The Rock play a character that literally is just a kid.
Oh, that he could pull it off.
He could pull it off. I think it would have been a little awkward, like, oh, yeah, for those of you that don't know, he's actually a kid.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, that's the thing. You could totally have a scene where the kid, like, turns into Shazam... And, like, the first thing he does, he, like, puts on, like, an overcoat and, like, a hat and glasses, like a trench coat kind of thing, and he goes up to, like, the movie counter and is like, hello, I am a full adult, and I would very much like to buy a ticket for this R-rated movie. And I am able to do that because I am a full-fledged adult.
It would have been cute.
And then you have The Rock, like, go in and have, like, handfuls of, like, popcorn and, like, candy and drinks, and he's watching the R-rated movie, and he's covering his eyes the whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that could have been kind of funny.
You know, you could have totally done that scene, and he would have worked.
But it is what it is, and there's no turning back now.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. So.
All right, what do we got next?
We talked about Wonder Woman. We want to talk about the young Nathan Drake casting.
Okay. All right, so this actually broke not that long ago.
1 hour ago.
Yeah, about an hour ago. But Tom Holland is going to be playing Nathan Drake in the upcoming Uncharted film.
No, he's going to play
possibly slated for
young Nathan Drake.
Yep.
Young. So it's going to be mostly in flashback.
Nathan Drake.
It's going to be mostly in flashback.
Well, I'm thinking. Let's put this let's put it in perspective. They're basically going to take that one chunk from Uncharted 3 and basically expand that into an entire movie.
But then it's not Uncharted.
That's the gist of it. Because the guy's 20. The actor, he's 20.
Yeah.
Going to be playing a kid. And so because seeing that he's the first to have been cast just furthers the idea that, because I'm trying to analyze this from the perspective of the original version of the film was going to star Mark Wahlberg, and it was going to retcon and revamp the entire everything to make it drastically different from the source material, where Nate came from like a family of thieves, all that stuff, and was just a huge deter away from the material, and I don't know how I felt about that. And then it was announced, we're gonna do a new, we're still doing the movie, but we're gonna do it differently and more accurate to the material. So now I hear that Tom Holland is gonna star in it. I'm thinking, cool, but I don't get it. Because if you cast him first in this movie, which, let's think about it, usually when you cast for your movie, you're thinking your main guy, who's going to be in the majority of the film. And if you have parts of the movie that are flashbacks focusing on a younger version, usually cast that later.
Yeah.
The main focus is getting who's going to be playing this character for the majority of the film. So to hear that he has been cast first, I'm thinking, okay, so they're going to take the prequel portion of 3 or 4 and expand that for an entire movie.
Yeah.
And I think, how is that going to work? Because I personally want to see grown up, wisecracking, surviving by the skin of his teeth, Nathan Drake for a whole movie.
Yeah. So
unless they're going to retcon the backstory and made it to where Nate's doing that as a kid, with Sully being his still as his sort of father figure and mentor, I'm just failing to see how that's going to work.
Right.
I'm still excited for the movie. I'm a big fan of Uncharted. I love those games to death, not as much as Tomb Raider. But I love the series to death. But I just don't understand what their story is going to be if what seemingly so far the big focus of the movie is going to be young Nathan Drake.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to still have your big budget action movie spectacle if he's just a kid?
Yeah.
Are we going to get that?
I don't know, dude. I just think.
I mean, they picked definitely got the right guy for the role, but yeah. I still want to think who's going to play grown up Nathan Drake though? Are they going to give the fans what they want to get Nathan Fillion to do it? Are they going to get somebody else that could possibly do it just as good?
Yeah.
What are they going to do? Who's it going to be? Because right now, I don't see a full movie with just Tom Holland.
Yeah.
No offense to the actor and his abilities, but I can't picture the whole movie with just you.
Yeah.
And seeing how big of a name he is right now makes it all the more confusing. Wait, you're going to have a big name like Tom Holland play the younger version of Nathan Drake and then have somebody else play the grown-up version? How are you going to balance that out? It's just all this confusing. It's just all this shit to think about, and it's just weird.
I don't know. I don't think this movie's going to be good anyway.
Well, let's compare it to the Tomb Raider movie. The upcoming Tomb Raider reboot takes more away from its source material than what this movie's looking like it's going to do so far. Because let's see, we got Alicia Vikander playing a young but grown-up Lara Croft on her first real adventure. It's taking a lot of inspiration from the 2013 reboot. Hell, she even looks exactly like how she did in the game.
Right.
It's going to be about her first adventure, but instead of being closely tied to the events of the actual game itself, it's going to be its own sort of separate, isolated adventure that tends to do the same thing, sort of build her up to be the adventurer we know her as. Something involving her father, but at least it's taking more of a page from its material than this is.
Yep.
In Uncharted, we get a young Nathan Drake for only a small segment of game.
Right.
In 3, it's one of the opening chapters. In 4, it's the opening chapter, and then another part of gameplay further into the story.
Right.
It is not a crucial part of the narrative. It is only a sub piece of it.
Right.
So I need to see more of this.
Yeah. Do you have anything else we can talk about? How we think Transformers fucking what number is this?
5
is gonna do?
From film buffs who not to brag or sound pretentious know how to critique good movies, that know how to.
I mean, it's not even that. It's not even that. Like, I know people who don't give a shit about filmmaking. Like, they couldn't tell you what a fucking. Like, they don't fucking, like, they're not interested in film. These fucking morons in the film industry who make the fucking Transformers movies can't even entertain the people who don't know shit about film.
Well, it's like I keep saying, Michael Bay is an evil genius, is a secret evil genius.
Well, I mean,
he knows exactly how to reach the people.
Well, I mean, this is going to lead into shit. Like, this is leading into an expanded cinematic universe now.
Yeah, they're already developing a Bumblebee spinoff.
Why?
Well, I saw a recent poster for the movie, and I thought, seriously, how much bigger could this get? How much bigger in scope can these movies pretend to be?
Well, I mean, don't forget Transformers 4 was the highest grossing movie of 2014.
Yep, it was. But
it made
as a person, that was still a time when I kind of gave a shit, because growing up in a cultured household, I grew instant appreciation and admiration for Transformers, and there was a time when I was still kind of oblivious and blind to the idea of the Transformers movies being shit. But after watching 4, that was the line for me.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm done.
Well, it's the same. It's the same movie.
These movies can bite me. Go to hell, Michael Bay. I'm done. So then I see the trailer for the newest one, and same thing. My mind has not changed. I just don't care anymore. I could sit down and do an extensive a scientific analysis of why these movies are absolute shit, and yet millions of people will still go see them to ensure the franchise's future.
Well, I mean, it's just, you can't keep people stupid forever.
Michael Bay begs to differ. As long as he knows his paychecks keep coming in, he does not. He'll do whatever it takes to get our money.
Yeah. But like, I don't
It's
know.
sad. It's really sad.
Yeah.
But
But
it's the
just,
fucked up world we live in, and that sucks.
it's just.
You want to move on? I think we're depressed enough from that.
What else can we talk about?
Okay, well, on the topic of video game films, from the Uncharted thing, the Resident Evil movie franchise is getting rebooted.
Why?
Now, let me. I mentioned this before we began recording. I've known about this for around 5 years now. They've had plans to do this. Sony has had plans to do this post-production of Resident Evil Retribution. So after post-production on the 5th movie was done, they already had plans lined up to reboot the film franchise to allegedly make movies more closer and accurate to the video games themselves. Because if you look at it, the film franchise have shit to do with the actual games themselves. The animated movies are the only animated material outside of the games that are actually canon.
My shits have more to do with Resident Evil than those fucking movies.
You know, I don't know if we need to. Maybe I'll get to that in a moment. But the animated movies are not as successful as the live action films. They don't make as much money. They go straight to DVD. They are not as big as the live action films. They do not bring in as much bank. Hell, I'm still surprised that the upcoming 3rd animated movie, Vendetta, is going to theaters for one night only. That's a big deal to me as a fan.
Right.
But I think Capcom wants to reach out to their not only wants to reach out to their existing fan base, or Sony, whatever. They want to reach out to their existing fan base, but they also want to reel in big new fans that are interested in the lore by making movies that are closer to the games and manage to target those people and bring them in and satisfy those people. Which I have no problems with. Yeah. I would love to watch live-action movies where I get to see the actual game characters take center stage, then be second fiddle to this made-up character that's the center of these movies.
Yeah. That's
a world I would rather live in. Now, I personally love the movies. I've yet to see the 6th one, but I love the movies. I find them very entertaining. You do, much like the games, you do not watch them to get scared. You watch them for the action, the characters, and the cheesy everything.
Right.
That is what I get out of the games, and that's what I get out of these movies. So, they're absolutely fine in my book. And I think Paul W. Anderson is self-aware enough to know that's exactly what his movies do. That's what you watch them for. And I don't know how big of a fan he is of the games. And I know he says he is a fan of them. I don't know to what extent. Seeing how big a liberties he takes with the material. But yeah. I will admit, it is one of the best case scenarios of fan fiction.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to make movies that copy the games in their entirety, he just wrote really good fan fiction. And I respect him for that. I respect the movies for not trying to take the game's thunder and being exactly what the games are by doing their own thing.
Yeah.
So, but the idea of Sony wanting to reboot the films and allegedly make ones that are more closer to the material they're based off of is a big plus. It's that pull the trigger on this, guys. Go ahead and do this. But this is not a big deal. This is not newsworthy. I've known about this for a long time. So,
yep.
I'm just going to sit back and just wait and see. Wait. Let's see how long this takes them. Let's wait for them to actually put together, say that the movie's in development, that it's in production, whatever. Show me a trailer, and we will see just how good this can be in comparison to the 6 movies we've already got that are hit and miss critically with some people. They make shitloads of money, and that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm. But no, it's just I don't know.
But also speaking of Sony, my
yes,
stuff.
You said my name.
Fucking allergies. What?
You said my name.
No, speaking of
You said Jesus.
Why?
Why what?
But while Sony isn't fucking things up with more reboots, it's been announced that they are doing a sequel to Goosebumps. They are doing Goosebumps Horrorland coming out next year.
People saw the first Goosebumps?
You can't see it, but I'm frowning here.
I mean, I didn't see it, so like I don't know.
I've seen it a couple of times. I actually saw it when it opened in theaters, and
I mean, the book.
As a kid, I read the books.
Well, so did I. I think everybody read the books when they were kids.
Yeah, I read the books. I watched the show. I did all of that stuff. I'm a big fan of the horror genre, and even the horror stuff that, yes, supposedly scares kids. I find that stuff amusing. So when they announced that they were doing a live action movie, I was like, yeah, cool, this is gonna be awesome. And when I saw it, like this is actually really good. This is everything that I thought it would be. Because I was expecting it to be like one of those what am I thinking of? Like Sin City, what's the term where it's like multiple stories in the same
anthology.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be like an anthology movie where it just tells multiple different stories from the books, but no, it tells its own original story using the many different monsters and characters from the books as sort of like the main tension, the main conflict of the story. And I thought that was really good. I found that very entertaining. It wasn't trying to be scary for kids. It was just entertaining in a really good comical way, light, kind of cheap thrills kind of way. So I absolutely loved it.
That's what the books were. They weren't like scary, but they were like, you know.
I think the idea of who exactly the books were, who the books for, was up to debate.
Right.
I was never scared by them. I mean, yeah, some of the books every now and again there'd be something in them that would be left on kind of the back of my mind, like, what if that actually was real?
Right.
What if this could actually happen in real life? But the books never scared me. As I said, I find them amusing.
Yeah, they're cheap little like they remind me of pulp magazines.
Yeah, cheap thrills.
Yeah.
Nothing that'll keep you up at night. Nothing that'll scar you for life. Just stuff. Just cheap thrills that you read for light entertainment. And the movie does that for a feature film. So So that's what I got out of it. That's what I really liked about it. So to see the other day that they're doing a sequel, really, that's awesome. And the fact that it's covering it's going to be covering the Horrorland series of stories has me excited. I never read all of them, but I did read a couple of them, and I thought, hey, this is actually really cool. So I'm certainly looking forward to this. I hope they bring the whole cast, including Jack Black as R.L. Stine. Jack Black doesn't do a whole lot these days, so to see him,
he just focuses on music.
Yeah. So to see him, in a movie is a real treat, and he did an excellent job playing R.L. Stine in the film. So I look forward to seeing him come back. I look forward to seeing seeing what's his face come back as the main character. I don't know his name. He was in the first film. More people will recognize him as the protagonist of 13 Reasons Why. Bring that guy back to this movie. He's to the sequel. He was great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I highly anticipate it.
Yeah.
But
it's you gotta. I don't know. But,
did you have something else? Because I was going to bring up another thing.
What other thing?
Well, on the subject of cheap horror and still video games, a lot of stuff, there's a lot of stuff now being announced for 2018. There's going to be a Slender Man movie coming out next year.
Who gives a shit?
And my overall thoughts are, why in the fuck do we need this?
Well, I mean,
we don't need this movie.
Well, we don't really need any movie, to be honest. Like, You know what I mean?
No.
We're gonna talk from, like, an existential level.
But, like, why on not God's green earth do we need this film? It should already be established that this is a bunch of Slender Man is not a myth. It is a bunch of fictitious bullshit made on the internet. On the fucking internet.
It was by 4chan.
Yeah.
You see what I'm doing? This is why the movie is made.
Yeah, you can't see it, but
for those of you who can't see it,
but he's doing but he's rubbing his fingers for that cheddar, for that sweet, sweet money.
That sweet, sweet money. I think it wasn't 4chan, it was Creepypasta, I think, that started Slender Man.
Whoever, I think I've seen this, read into it one time, but forgot. Whoever. But this entity is not real. Yeah. It is a bunch of internet bullshit. Yeah. The fact that 2 girls attempted murder in the name of this thing.
Wait, didn't they actually kill the girl? I thought she
was fatally injured but survived.
Okay, good.
They fatally injured but survived. But I don't know if they were ever prosecuted for what they did, but the fact that they did it is
kids are fucking dumb.
No, it's like an infamous incarnation of one of my favorite characters once said, "Kids these days, no respect."
No respect, you know. But
getting back on track, we do not need this movie because.
Well, don't forget they're still doing a Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Yeah, but at least that, as stupid as the concept is, at least its lore is interesting. At least the concept has something.
The best thing about Five Nights at Freddy's is when Game Theory comes out with another video.
That's the only reason I give a shit, is when YouTubers like Game Theory, or there's another YouTuber named Treesicle that actually does theory videos on it, talk about the backstory, talk about what happens in the background of what you're playing.
Yeah.
That stuff's fascinating, and they could make a pretty interesting movie out of that.
Yeah.
Decently interesting, like bare minimum interesting movie out of it.
Right.
But the game itself is terrible. Like, Slender Man has nothing interesting going for it. Yeah. It's just this entity that abducts kids. End of story.
Yeah. And we've never seen that before in film.
Yeah. Well, when I heard that, after I thought about this for a bit, I remembered that there's actually a series on YouTube. There's a
series on YouTube?
What?
There's a series on YouTube? I thought videos were standalone on YouTube. Thought we were breaking new ground here.
Oh no, we'll break ground when we get there, but that's when we get there. But no, there's a little infamous gem on YouTube called Marble Hornets, which basically takes the concept of the Slender Man, and actually makes it interesting. Yeah. Basically what it is that I recommend looking this up. It's actually really interesting. Marble Hornets is one of the modern takes on the found footage genre.
Right.
And actually does it really well. It's very low budget, very cheesy in terms of writing, but it actually is a pretty cool idea. It basically follows a set of filmmakers, a filmmaker who's trying to make like this. I believe it was a movie, and suspense and horror ensues. It basically follows our main character, who's using the tapes for documentation purposes to basically chronicle his experiences of what he found in the disappearance. Because basically this filmmaker is trying to make a movie, but he disappears. So our main character is using the tapes as a way to sort of document what happened and try to find his friend.
Right.
And as the story develops, as it continues, we find that weird stuff's happening. Weird, horrific things are happening involving these people. And the Slender Man is only a small aspect of these events. He's barely seen. He's not even called the Slender Man. I believe he's called the Director,
Yeah.
And his role is basically just to sort of be like the puppet master and sort of orchestrate these weird events that happen during the series. And I feel that's like the best version of this character. It's interesting, and when I heard, okay, so now there's going to be a movie, it reminded me they were actually trying to develop Marble Hornets into a movie.
Right.
And I'm thinking, and I'm hoping, a little fragment of me is hoping that this movie is that.
Okay.
Because that's going to be the only redeeming quality of this. I personally, overall, I don't think we need this movie, but if it is going to be a movie, please let it be an adaptation of Marble Hornets.
Right. Oh,
because it's actually good. Because there was a Slender Man movie made like a few years ago through Kickstarter, and it was shit.
Well, I mean,
so let Marble Hornets. If you're gonna let this character be in a movie, please let it be this.
Right. Well,
I even think I remember Doug Jones was actually going to be playing the Slender Man in the film.
Well, he's a great pick for it. I love Doug Jones.
Doug Jones is awesome. So if you're going to get somebody to play this thing, let it be him, please.
Yeah.
Let it be him. Let it be Marble Hornets in the movie. But until I see more that confirms this, my overall consensus is we don't need this.
Yeah.
Until I get confirmation that this is an adaptation of Marble Hornets, I do not care. I do not want to see this.
Right.
Give me all the evidence that I need to prove the contrary, and I will get on board with this.
Yeah.
But shit.
Well, we're at an hour, and we're at an hour. We can talk about one more thing, which is just going to be speculation. Okay. Since Homecoming comes out in about a month, a little more than a month, they already have a release date for the sequel, July 5th, 2019. Okay?
Okay. All right.
Who do you want the villain to be? And keep in mind, there's only one right answer to this, and any wrong answer, you're not going to get in trouble. We're just going to slowly torture you in the basement.
Give me a second. Kraven the Hunter.
No.
God damn it.
I want Mysterio.
All right.
Because, goddamn it, we have had... This is going to be the 6th Spider-Man movie when the sequel comes out. It'll be the 6th Spider-Man movie. How the fuck has Mysterio not been a villain already? We've had Goblin twice. We've had Green Goblin twice. We've had Doc Ock once. We've had Venom. We've had Sandman. We've technically had Hobgoblin Jr. And we've had the Lizard and Electro. That's like 7 villains.
I have to agree with you. Mysterio would be interesting, but there needs to be some kind of supernatural twist on this.
He's a practical effects artist. You could have Spider-Man fight a giant T-Rex in the middle of New York.
No, my problem with Mysterio is that once you see through the bullshit and see through the parlor tricks, that's all he is. It only really gets interesting when he actually gets literal magic put into the equation.
I mean, you live in the MCU. You
give him. Well, that's why I'm thinking it could be possible. You give him actual magic powers. Like, okay, here's what I'm picturing.
Limited magical powers because you have to do the practical stuff.
Well, I'm picturing first act of the movie. He shows up, gets his ass handed to him by Spider-Man, who like kind of like, oh crap, like this guy's doing all these weird tricks and stuff. Like, oh wait, it's all parlor tricks. It's all like,
yeah.
What do we know about magic? It's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's all a bunch of tricks. And he sees through it, defeats Mysterio. He gets knocked on his ass, like, how do I defeat Spider-Man now? Gets his hands on some kind of magical abilities, and then there's your big your big tension there.
We could have him fight a giant T-Rex in the middle of New York.
You could, because it's actual magic.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I want Mysterio because You know who would be a perfect Mysterio?
Oh,
Bruce Campbell.
I think you told me this already.
I want Bruce Campbell for Mysterio. I don't care if he was in the Tobey Maguire movies. He needs to play Mysterio.
I don't even count his appearances in that. That was just kind of like him just kind of like doing like a friendly favor for a close friend.
Well, I mean...
Because Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi are best buds.
Right, well, he was going to be Mysterio in Spider-Man 4. In the opening scene of the movie, he was going to be turned into the police, and he was going to be Mysterio.
I did not know this.
And apparently that movie was going to open with, like, a montage of him fighting, like, villains. And, like, the main antagonist of the film was going to be the Vulture.
Yeah, they were looking to get,
John Malkovich.
No, I was thinking of somebody else. Who am I thinking of? Ah, man, forget it.
I heard it was Malkovich, but I may be wrong. But I want Mysterio. I really do. I want Mysterio. Mysterio's awesome.
No, I originally heard that it was going to be Ben Kingsley that was going to be the Vulture.
He would have been okay. But I don't like the Vulture. I don't think he's that interesting of a villain.
Well, he's literally issue number 1 stuff.
Yeah. But, like, Mysterio's, like, issue, like, 12 or 13.
He's down the road. He's down the road when they started getting a little bit more elaborate with the characters.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is that just about all Spider-Man villains are the same thing. They're just people that rob banks with elaborate gimmicks.
Yes, but, like...
Sandman. Guy that has the physical properties of sand. He robs banks. Electro. Can conduct the properties of electricity, but he robs banks. Shocker. Robs banks.
Who's also going to be in Homecoming.
Yes. He's going to be in Homecoming, but I imagine he's going to be a bitch villain.
Yeah. Well, because that's the thing. That's the thing. Spider-Man Homecoming seems to have learned from what Nolan did, which is you can have more than one villain. You just have to give them a pecking order.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because The Dark Knight, technically, I mean, it has 2 villains. It's just that, Two-Face doesn't show up, and he's just kind of a henchman. Not a henchman, but he's like...
It builds up to it.
Yeah.
If it was like, hey, here's Harvey... Like, if it was like the first 30, 40 minutes, like, hey, here's Harvey Dent. Oh, now he's Two-Face.
Yeah. Well, and
that would have been weird, but it builds up to that.
Yeah, and then, Batman Begins. You have Scarecrow and Ra's al Ghul. Scarecrow gets shafted, and he's more of a henchman, but, like, that's the thing. Ra's al Ghul was the big threat.
But that makes the reveal all the more all the better.
Yeah,
When you find, Scarecrow's not the big dog in this film.
Yeah, but I do wish they would do just a Scarecrow movie as him as the villain. Maybe he'll be the villain in the Batman starring Ben Affleck.
Possibly. I could see them try to create like a more, because Scarecrow gets more fucked up in the comics. They could do something really cool with that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like the
no offense to Cillian Murphy. You did a fine job.
He did great. Films. He did great. But my thing is that like I wasn't a huge fan of that game, but I liked the design from Arkham Knight.
Yeah, when I found out that was his actual face, I kind of went, what?
Yeah, I mean the design.
Not a mask. That's his actual fucking face.
The design is great. It's just eh.
Yeah, I thought the design was good. It's just the story wasn't the greatest.
Anyway, I don't have anything else to talk about unless you have something.
Well, I mean, I got one more thing.
Okay.
And that's
we got
the possibility that Carl Urban could come back as Dredd in the upcoming series.
Okay. You gotta limit it to like 5 to 10 minutes because I gotta get ready for class.
We all get things together.
I have to go to school. I'm sorry.
He's still in film school. And I'm not.
And you dropped out.
I dropped out like a little bitch.
You didn't drop out like a bitch. You dropped out like a man. A man who grew
because making independent stuff is fun.
You dropped out like a man who grew a vagina.
Something like that. Because making independent stuff is fun.
Okay, Carl Urban.
Okay, well, I just hope it happens, because Carl Urban was awesome as Dredd, and I want to see him come back, because he's awesome.
Well, I mean, Carl Urban is the shit. Who doesn't love Carl Urban?
Yeah, he is. Like he may not get around as much as other people, but he's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That the guy is an awesome actor. And when I finally sat down and watched Dredd, I was blown back. Like this is the perfect casting.
Yeah.
This is an example of perfect casting for a movie. He was so awesome in it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if they ever could cross over Dredd with the Punisher, I would be okay with that. Because they would work so well together. How has that not been a comic book already?
Oh, I'm sure there's a comic of that somewhere.
How is there, to my knowledge, how is there not a comic book where the Punisher teams up with Dredd?
There's a comic where Punisher meets Archie.
Yes, there is one.
I'm sure there's a Punisher meets Judge Dredd somewhere.
Here's what we should do. Let's cross over the Punisher with Spawn and Judge Dredd. You can have a trifecta of kick-ass anti-heroes.
I'd rather do Punisher, Judge Dredd, and Venom.
That's so much cool stuff to think about doing.
Or no, Constantine, Punisher, and Spawn.
Can we just let's just make like a crossover spin-off series, like comic book series where we have all these awesome anti-heroes from comic books cross over from their different universes to form a super team. It'll be like Deadpool Corps, but strictly for anti-heroes.
Yeah. We don't give a shit about you, Corps.
We don't give a shit about licensing and branding. We're gonna put all these awesome anti-heroes in the same universe to fight crime or threats.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be awesome.
Yep.
We can finally eliminate the conflict between Marvel and DC when we prove that two of its best anti-heroes can work well three.
Well, I mean, they almost were under all one roof in the 90s.
Yes, they were.
DC almost bought Marvel.
They did.
Which is weird to think about. Like, that would be, like, the weirdest thing.
Yeah, it would be weird. Think about how different those movies would be. Think about how different those movies would be if that's how it went down.
I mean, I could stand to have a little dark in my Marvel movies.
I want dark in my Marvel movies.
You know, I would like to actually see Tony Stark actually deal with alcoholism, but that's just me. But
I would like them to go a little bit more black and white with the reality of Steve Rogers being in the present, knowing everybody he's ever cared and loved dead.
I would like them to admit that Captain America's a dick in Civil War. He was a little bitch. I hate Captain America, so
just be fortunate that I'm a bigger fan of the Punisher than I am Captain America.
I don't have time to get into this right now, but next podcast, if they want, I will sit down and explain to you point by point why Captain America is wrong throughout that entire movie. And
I will promise you that I will keep my mouth shut the whole time.
No, you won't. I'm
wearing my fucking Punisher hoodie right now. Just further solidifies the fact that I'm a bigger fan of that character than I am Captain America.
I know, but like I could just make a video explaining, like point by point, scene by scene, why Captain America is a fucking idiot. But okay, I literally have to get to class. Like I can't. I'm sorry. Okay. I literally have to get to class. Let's do the sign off.
This has been 2 Dorks, 1 Mic. I'm James.
I'm Kyle. Bye.
Peace out.